I'll tell you a sport that I've fallen not out of love with, but I'd lost some interest in, and the interest has been completely rekindled. And I see it already in the chat all over the place. That is the National Football League, a small outfit out of New York City, where they have added a superstar into their league by the name of Cam Ward. Should say superstars, because they also added a young man named Xavier Restrepo. And Pete, do you got the video queued up here on our buddy Cam from Coach Callahan?
Yep.
Let's hear what's going on there.
I'll be honest, I'm not used to calling plays to a quarterback who's usually still talking when I'm talking to him. And that's great. And so I asked him after practice, and I said, just help me out here. Do you need me to wait till you finish? And he goes, no, I'm listening. So he's hearing what I'm telling him. And it was a pretty remarkable to see all the things going on and how much he's talking, but like his brain is still like with me, I guess is the best way to put it. Like when I'm calling him play, he's doing all he's doing, but he's listening to everything I'm telling him. And he enters right into the huddle when he calls a play and doesn't script the play call. And I thought that was actually kind of remarkable. I don't know. I couldn't do that. So that's just kind of who he is. That's his personality. And again, if it was something that I felt like was detrimental to his ability to manage the offense and call it in the huddle and all that, I'd probably have a couple of things to say to him, but he didn't miss a beat when it came to calling the play and being on top of it and then executing when it came time to execute. So it was new experience for me, but it was fun.
You miss him?
He's going to be good, man. He's going to be good. My favorite part about that clip was looking at the smile on Brian Callahan's face. You can't hide that. Like, he thinks he's got a good one, and all indications are from camp they do have a good one right there. Happy for Xavier Restrepo. Really kind of fell on his face, almost quite literally, running the 40 and going undrafted. That really stings for a guy that's Miami's all-time leading receiver, but he went to the perfect spot. The way that they're talking about Cam Ward, they're marveling at his intelligence and his professionalism, and that's not something that surprises us. It's something that we were banging the drum for. I am more certain than ever, seeing these early reports, that Cam Ward is going to be a superstar in that league. And week one, I would caution you in taking the Denver Broncos in your survivor pools. I'll tell you that right now, because this guy's got to hit the league running.
John Z says he's a Titans season ticket holder, and the reports are legit. Go ahead and place a future on us winning the AFC South. I'm glad you mentioned the intangibles. We talked about on the show, Cam is a very good athlete. He is not an elite athlete. I mean, he was fat in high school. Mm-hmm. I mean, he was a fat point guard.
He got in shape, honestly, before the draft. Like, you could tell, like, when he was slimming down, he wasn't like, it's not like he didn't work hard, but in terms of getting his body right, he was more about getting the offense right and getting between the ears right. He could have afforded to get in better shape, and it seems like he has. But he's not straight line speed, not a great athlete, right?
Good arm, very good arm talent, but is the NFL, a lot of people have very good arm talent. It's his intangibles. That to me is the whole Cam Ward story. And it's not just the IQ, which he has the football IQ. He has the IQ as well. He also just has a very good EQ, emotional, whatever they call it, the personality. Mm-hmm. He is a real, ask anybody in Miami's building that's behind the scenes, and look, you're more in sports than I am, as far as who's a jerk and who's kind of fake, right? Mm-hmm. You hear all the industry kind of rumors. You will not find a person that says anything bad about Cam Ward at UM off the record. He is the man. I interviewed him for Storm Sessions, sat with his parents, had lunch with them, talked to him after the show, saw him interact with everybody in the operation. He's the same in all aspects. His parents are the same in all, that's what he is, exactly how he is here, talking, smack talking, joking in the press. That's how he is. So when you have that, you were talking about how the coach Callahan was laughing. Imagine having a complete dud like Mitchell Trubisky, and you're seeing him in this, and you're like, man, this guy's going to suck. We have a whole year of this crap.
Yeah, you can't hide that smile that he was trying to disguise on that face poorly. He knows. And yeah, Clutch 22 has a great point. The tight O-lines should concern you. However, we've seen Cam Ward execute with a bad O-line. Maybe not here in Miami, but if you know ball and you were betting on all sorts of Pac-12 football, you know that he had a terrible offensive line at Washington State. In fact, you could attribute it to his fumble problems, as he was literally trying to check at the line till the very last second. And a lot of those fumbles were just botched snaps because he was trying to read the defense at the very last second. We've seen Cam Ward execute at a very high level behind a bad offensive line. taking your lumps behind a bad offensive line. Look, they have the number 1 pick for a reason. Generally, the number 1 pick in the NFL draft, not good along the trenches. A great elixir for all that is a quarterback that approaches it with the level of professionalism that Cam Ward does have, and the escapability that he displayed despite not having this all-world speed. He had elusiveness, incredible pocket presence, the ability to step up in the pocket. He does all the things that true pocket passers do. And when it comes time to turn it on and tuck the ball down and make a run, he showed you time and time again, while he's not super fleet of foot, he's a good enough athlete, maybe kind of like a Baker Mayfield, in that he can pull it down and maybe juke somebody out of the way and keep it going. Yeah, I think Baker Mayfield's a pretty good comp in terms of his level of athleticism and his ability to scramble.
0-star also from the state of Texas.
There we go.
Baseball player.
You're talking yourself into it. I think Bake is a pretty good comp. Only he's entering the league far more mature than Baker did.
That's a fact. Ghost and Valdon's is saying that Bill Callahan, a very good offensive line coach, is
absolutely
the dad of the head coach, so that helps. John Z reporting live from Tennessee saying Ward was trash talking Jeffrey Simmons winning and then went 14 for 14. Yeah, so he went on a run there. Xavier Restrepo also, Pete, I know you saw the reports. He had a great practice as well. The big concern with Restrepo, and we talked about this since before last season, is he doesn't return punts. So NFL, the roster size, it's hard to carry a 5'8", 5'9" receiver that does not return punts. That's a negative for Restrepo, that he's going to have to really, really shine at receiver. But I think ultimately you have a rookie quarterback. You want to make him comfortable. Restrepo is going to have a great shot at receiver. But if he doesn't make it, I think that's going to be the issue, is the punt return.
I think he's also got some job security in that Cam Ward is his quarterback. And I know it's the pros and Cam Ward is a rookie. I think if Xavier Restrepo were on the cut line, I think Cam Ward would be asked about it. It doesn't seem like, I understand he's an undrafted wide receiver that doesn't return punts. From the reports over at camp, it doesn't seem like he's flirting with that cut line at all right now, because he is the most productive wide receiver that they have at these practices. So he can go ahead and not return punts if he's catching the most passes and just doing what he does on the field. We know Xavier Restrepo is a gamer. There are things on the measurable side that he's not going to be able to fill for you. That's not his game. And plenty of guys in the NFL have made big time dollars. So the archetype for all these guys is Wes Welker in terms of slot receivers that find the holes in zones and just find ways to get the balls down the field and the chains moving. And Xavier Restrepo, he is that personified. And when the ball is in his hand, he's another guy, not unlike Cam Ward, with deceptive speed. He knows exactly how to accelerate and make the right angles and play a lot faster than he actually is. He showed that time and time again here at the University of Miami.
And the reports are that not only was Cam Ward throwing it to him, it was Will Levis, all their other quarterbacks. So someone made the comment on CanesInSight.com, 7.4 million posts and counting. If you have not signed up today, please do.
You say in counting. How many are we counting? Are we getting close to 8?
If we get a couple of good commits, we can crank that up. We get 600,000 posts.
Okay.
In a couple of days, we get a couple good ones.
So it's close to 7.6.
Well, it could be. I have to check. I didn't check before the show. I screwed up. But what I'll say is on that board, DTP, very prominent poster, made the joke that, hey, Will Levis, who was also throwing it to Restrepo, must be Restrepo's roommate, because that was the whole thing. TBD was his roommate. That's why he threw it to him, even though when he got hurt, Ja'Cory Brown threw 22 passes to Restrepo. He must be like, remember Real World? They had like 9 roommates. Yeah. That's Restrepo. It was just Restrepo and 8 quarterbacks, and they all just throw to him, because every single quarterback that lines up with Restrepo on the field is throwing the football. I think that's what's going to be missed here.
Oh, I forgot that Ayamanor went to Tennessee, the Stanford wide receiver. When everybody, I was in North Carolina in Chapel Hill for the game that Miami lost to. TBD had people chanting his name in that game, but I was really blown away by Drake May. That's about as good as I've seen a quarterback play against Miami, because you go back to that game, Miami kind of executed what they wanted to do on defense, and it did not matter. That's how I knew Drake May would be good, and I expect pretty good things from him there. But the only thing that I enjoyed about that trip was watching Stanford come back and beat Colorado, because that was my prime hating days of prime. And wide receiver.
Get well prime.
Yeah, he's dealing with some stuff. But Ayamanor was a really good, I'm probably butchering the pronunciation of his name, but he was a gamer. I would have loved that guy over at Miami. And Cam Ward has that as a weapon. And you have Xavier Restrepo, a nice little security blanket for him. And Bill Callahan is not a small thing. For an offensive line that needs to get coached up, you can't ever have a better. In our lifetime, he's the best offensive line coach that there's ever been.
Mirabal.
And Chris Forster.
In the pro ranks, I think Bill Callahan would probably be that dude. But okay, if you want to parse and venture Forster and Mirabal, I think they would all say Bill Callahan's a really good head coach. Chris Forster.
So